I would like to call this January 9th, 2024 City Planning Commission meeting to order. I would ask if you have any cell phones or any other devices, please put them on quiet. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Mr. President, since this is the first meeting of the new year, our first item tonight is to elect officers for this board. So I would open the floor at this time for nominations for president.
I nominate Mike Messer.
Second.
Is there any other nominations for president? Could I get a motion to close nominations, please?
I move close.
Second.
So, all right, nominations have been closed. All in favor of Mike Messer for president signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Congratulations, Mike,
Thank you, sir.
I think.
Yeah, really.
So the next office would be for vice president, so I will open the floor for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Mr. Jefferson.
Second.
Any other nominations for vice president? If not, could I have a motion to close nominations?
So closed. Second.
With nominations being closed, all in favor of Mr. Jefferson, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. At this time, I'll open the floor for nominations for secretary.
I nominate Greg Sheeline.
I'll second.
Moving nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay, nominations have been closed. All in favor of myself for being secretary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Oh, boy. All right, thank you all.
Next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from December 12th.
I move to approve.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. Director Sheeline.
Okay, before we get into our agenda, we do have several continuances tonight. I'm going to give you addresses, so if anyone's here or any of those cases, I apologize, but they have all been continued for one reason or another. The first case is case P19A23. That's 220 East Bell Avenue. That case has been continued and should be heard in the February meeting. Also, case P20A23, this is the petition for 324 East Bell Avenue. Again, that one has also been continued and should be heard in the February meeting. Case P40Z23, that is, well, it's east and south of West Effenball Street and South Dixon Road. There was some miscommunication between my office and the petitioner on how this was going to be advertised, so it did not get advertised correctly. So if anyone's here for that case, it will also be continued and heard in the February meeting. And also case P12P23, this is the Ferris Center. This is at 1514 East Morgan Street. That case has been continued and will be heard at the February meeting. And also P21A23, this is the development plan for 1514 East Morgan Street. It is also being continued and will be heard in the February meeting. So all of those cases are being continued. So if you're here for those cases, I apologize, but they will not be heard this evening. The only two cases that will be heard will be case P39Z23 and case P41Z23. So the first case tonight, Mr. President, is case P39Z23. This petition of Boyer Restaurant Group LLC requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition recommended to the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from C1HI, small to medium scale general commercial and high intensity industrial heavy manufacturing, to M3, large scale multifamily residential. And this is at the northwest corner at Berkeley Road and West Boulevard.
Move for approval.
Second.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Birch Dalton, 3744
Slippery Rock Court, Westfield, Indiana. I'm representing the landowners of Boyer Restaurant Group and the Mark and Steve Boyer. Steve Boyer is present. What we're asking for here is a rezone for multifamily apartments on what I think is a very good corner for it. It's right near the schools. It's near a retail center that can be kind of renovated with this, but with the housing demand, and as part of our work that we're doing at the Delco redevelopment, we're asking for a zoning change here, and these are not tax credit project. This is strictly a market rate project. It's going to be built, for people who can afford them, and we're going to have a matrix of 216 units and just shy about 410 parking lot spaces. So we will have to work on a variance for some of the parking as we go through this, but we're asking for zoning tonight to change it from high-intensity manufacturing and commercial to multifamily. I'm happy to answer any questions. You can see a conceptual plan here, but this is brand new 2- 3-story walk-up apartments with a mix from studio to 2-bedroom, 2-bath. The amenities will be pickleball courts, a nice clubhouse, and obviously with the existing pond, we'll clean up the shoreline and make that a big amenity. So we ask for your consideration and give us a positive recommendation so we can move on through the process. Any questions?
Do you have a breakdown of number of studio?
He doesn't have it on here. I apologize, but I can get it to you. So imagine you're going to be heavy on 2s. Typically it's usually about 20% 1-bedrooms and studios and the rest 2s. There won't be any 3-bedrooms in it unless just the final design. Sometimes you catch a corner that you can put 3 in, but it's not something we're active. But I'd say 20% studio and 1-bedrooms. The bulk will be 2-bedroom. We're trying to help the single parent with a child or a couple of kids. And, we like the proximity to the high school and the elementary school there. And we just think it's right for new apartments in that area.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report?
You mentioned the shopping center there. Do you have plans to renovate that as part of this project, or?
No, but we think we'll be a catalyst to help, whoever owns it. And, if it does become available, it's kind of like what we're doing out on 931. The Boyer family has purchased the Anderson car lot there as part of our project. I think you'll see that close in March, and we'll start doing work on that, cleaning that corner up once we get through city engineering. So, I think we're a catalyst to that area, bringing in new, good housing. But if it comes available, we're always buyers of retail.
Should you not get the parking variance, are you willing to reduce the apartment?
Generally, you have to, yeah. So we'll work on that, but I think we're pretty close. And if you look at the studio 1-bedrooms, I think our average is a little over 1.6, 1.7. But, those are all the wrestling matches as you go through the process. So, we'll give up units to make it happen.
Any other questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheeline.
Staff report for case P39Z23, Boyer Restaurant Group LLC is requesting to change the zone classification. The developer has been made aware that per current ordinance, a special exception use will also be required for 50 units or more, in addition to the lot needed to be subdivided prior to development. Joining properties zones are to the north institutional and high intensity industrial, to the south office commercial and institutional, to the east institutional, and to the west C1 small medium scale general commercial. According to City of Kokomo zoning ordinance Article 3 Section 3.21, the requested zone change is compatible with all the joining zones except the HI zone. However, there are currently several lots that neighbor this property that are zoned as HI. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this section of West Boulevard, Berkeley, is in an area designated for general commercial and heavy medium industrial. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life for residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of West Boulevard in Berkeley is defined as a major collector. A major collector is a street designed to facilitate the collection of traffic from local streets. Also, it provides circulation with the neighborhood areas and convenient ways to reach arterial streets. Traffic count for this area of West Boulevard and South Berkeley is 2,318 cars per day. The staff desires that the board forward their own recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council based on the information presented by the petitioner.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Please step forward, sir.
My name is Pastor A. Wendell Brown, Jr. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Wendell, how you
It's
doing?
been years, man.
Long time, buddy.
And we own the property, our church owns the property.
Can we have your address? You can give the address of.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's 1316 or 1613 North Berkeley, there on Berkeley. It sits right to the right, between that addition and Haynes, across from the hockey field, 10 acres approximately. And my question is, can I see that?
Sure, absolutely,
It was his turn, you.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is our church administrator, so we just want to look at it.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's just turn it around just so everybody
Yeah,
knows.
we'll
Can you
just
see it,
turn that
please?
around so everybody can see it, if you don't mind. There you go.
Sure, sure.
Absolutely.
Where's Berkeley?
The school's down here, retail centers over here.
Across the street. There's, right now, we're just using, farmers just using right now.
Is that right here?
We do have some
Thanks.
They have to email that to you. Looks like a church.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
But you're gonna have a lot of parishioners coming from there now.
Well, our church is not there.
You just build a church.
He's got a church.
We're gonna build something else there. So we may be back here again, and you may be asking me. So,
And I'll thank the Lord as Lord works.
okay, if you could, I can give you my email address, I would like to show our board.
Absolutely.
That's all I need, I just wanted to see it. You guys
Sure.
notice it? I didn't know what it was.
There you go. That answer your question? First time you, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's with Second Mission Baptist, right? Linda Ryan?
You're probably a little farther west, wouldn't you think?
No, he's the pastor of the church. No, he's the pastor. No. Which, right, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
Sir, where did you say the land was that you owned in relationship? Did you see, where did he point out that was? Where did he point out
Are
the,
you across the street on Berkeley?
Between Haynes and the addition.
Yes.
so here's the corner. No, well, there's the church. Is it this land? Or is it, yeah, sure can.
Where's the church?
That's the little church on Berkeley. And then,
That's the addition.
yeah.
He said 10 acres.
Oh, okay.
One lot.
Oh, okay, across Berkeley from, got it. Got it.
And I think Haynes is right here.
Yeah.
So we're right here.
Or is that Haynes? It's a manufacturer. Yeah.
Oh, It's
Yeah.
gonna be this refreshing spring, 5-5.
He's talking about this right here.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Can't say this meeting ain't laid back. You can't say this meeting's not laid back. Yeah. Any other questions from the audience? Any other questions from the board before I call for a vote? Any questions from the board? All in favor of case P39Z23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the common council and was presented there by Councilman Griecu. Thank you.
So the next case tonight, Mr. President, is case P41Z23, petition of Indiana Economic Development and the Board of Commissioners of Howard County requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition and recommend to the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from RR rural residential and agricultural within the US 31 OIAOL, which is the Office Industrial Agricultural Overlay, to HI, High Intensity Industrial Agricultural Overlay. This is for 16 parcels, and those are north of Smith Road. So I'm not gonna read all those parcel numbers because it would not only confuse all of you, it would confuse me. So, but there are 16 parcels involved in this rezoning, so.
Move to approve. Second. Please.
Thank you. So, good evening. My name is Andy Metzel. I'm an attorney at the Taft Law Firm with offices located at 1 Indiana Square, Suite 3500, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204. I am here on behalf of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. I'm here with my colleague Kyle Chambers. Kyle's in the audience. If I'm not able to answer a question, Kyle might, but I don't want to put him on the hot seat unless he's ready for it. Just to add a little bit of clarity, this actually is one of a very complicated process, trying to amalgamate properties so that we can have the Star Plus Energy gigafactories here in Kokomo. As you all are eminently familiar, you know, in May of 2022, there was the first announcement of the first gigafactory and the first initial $3 billion investment into Kokomo, and then we fast forward into October, and they were so excited to be here, they decided that they'd build a second one and a phase 2 and add an additional $3 billion plus into this development. What we are requesting is rezoning so that that process of development can be facilitated. They need additional land and process to do it. We already were in front of the council to vacate 300, and that became final. We were heard in November, I think it became final December 27th, so that has already occurred. This next step in the process is this rezoning. And we didn't want to be complicated by filing for rezoning of properties in the county and out of the county, but it just made timing sense. So I'll explain. 12 of the properties of the 16 parcels that were previously mentioned, 12 of those are in conjunction with an annexation petition that is currently under consideration by the council. It is a super voluntary annexation, meaning that 100% of the property owners have consented to the annexation, and so that is in process. That was heard last evening on first read, and so this is the next part of that. Then 4 of the parcels are actually inside of Kokomo already. They don't need to be annexed, but they do need the same zoning. So we're looking to rezone to the HI classification, as was mentioned, and also the OIA overlay, Office Industrial Agricultural. The properties that are the properties to be annexed, just so you know, north of 300 and kind of hemmed in between 931 and US 31. Those properties are about 198 acres, so it's a pretty considerable site. They are predominantly agricultural, so over 177 acres agricultural. There's about 20 acres in there that is institutional, and just under 1 acre is residential. Similar, the properties that are within the city already, those 4 parcels, those are predominantly agricultural as well, a little bit of residential, but we're seeking to rezone them all into one consistent zoning classification, that HI that I mentioned. We think that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Specifically, some of the language of the plan, the objectives that include evaluate opportunities to provide infrastructure to strategic growth areas for office and industrial land uses in an attempt to incentivize and encourage timely private sector investments. Well, this is probably one of the biggest private sector investments anyone could imagine, so and so we're pretty excited about it being in Kokomo. I'm sure you all are too. But it is definitely incentivizing that private sector investment, but we have to have the zoning intact. Comprehensive plan, so it doesn't actually include those parcels that are in Howard County. So we have to just envision whether or not this zoning is consistent with what you have included in the comprehensive plan, which is actually industrial in that immediate proximity. So it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, it's consistent with the objectives. We also know that the structures and development that have been on the sites already, largely non-contributing at this point, and the agricultural, of course, the tax base isn't going to be nearly as contributing eventually as the site would developed as industrial. So we do think there's support for it, it's consistent with the plan. We'd respectfully request your approval, and if you have questions, we're happy to answer them. So.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Shuline.
Staff report for case, pardon me, P41Z23. Again, this is the 16 parcels that we originally talked about. Indiana Economic Development Corporation Board of Commissioners of Howard County are requesting a change in zone classification for 16 parcels specified about to be rezoned from rural residential and agricultural within the office industrial agricultural overlay to HI, high intensity industrial, again within the office industrial agricultural overlay. This area should be utilized as a future industrial location. The approval is subject to annexation of the parcels and will become effective as of the date of annexation. Adjoining properties to the north are agricultural, to the south, high-intensity industrial, and to the east and west, all agricultural. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, the HI zoning district is compatible with all the zonings that border this area. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, these parcels located on East 300 North are not located within the City of Kokomo boundary area, therefore a designated use was not assigned. Land use goals encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life for residents in the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses, designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, these parcels are primarily located on East 300 North, which is defined as being a minor arterial. A minor arterial is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for the area of 300 North is 446 cars per day. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board now that we've had staff report? Any questions from the audience on this case? No questions from the board, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of, excuse me, all in favor of case P41Z23, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It will now go to the city council and be presented there by Councilman Griefu.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Sheeline, do we have any other business?
I have no other business tonight, Mr. President.
Next on the agenda is approval of claims.
I move to approve claims in the amount of $27,268.33.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of claims. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Claims are approved. Good meeting for the county.
There is one case in the county, it's a one-lot subdivision. Anyone wants to come to that riveting meeting, they're more than welcome.
Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all.